These 5 things I know are true. 1. NXT women's tag belts are a total and complete waste of time, and NXT needs to be shut down now. Like, now. 2. AEW trying to do a big explosion atmosphere shows that they spend too much money on overpriced and overdone wrestlers and not enough making sure their pyrotechnicians know how to do their job. 3. Any match with a special enforcer that is not Chuck Norris is an instant fail. 4. Monday Night Raw is becoming painfully overly watchable. And 5. Sometimes wrestling is goofy and sometimes it is bullshit. This week was an actual very eventful week in wrestling. Right till we had new NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Let's just end NXT right now. Let's just kill it. Kill it with fire after it laid eggs. A lot of eggs. The women's tag team titles as a general concept is a bad idea. Yes, on NXT it can work more efficiently because they actually do women's wrestling over here. But newsflash to WWE. You do not care about women's wrestling. You've never cared about women's wrestling. Your under-the-cover sexism is wide open for everyone to see, at least on the main roster. On NXT, you do a great job at covering it up, but let's be honest, if you could do an entire wrestling company without women's wrestling in it, you would completely do it and be happy at it. The NXT having women's tag team titles are a direct response to something in kayfabe that is going to end up blowing up in your face, just like the main roster women's tag team titles. When the biggest thing going on in your women's roster is Twinkie Force Nia Jax having a shopping spree with some loser champagne guy, you really have a problem. But it's a problem that is always, for the life of us all, persisted. So can you please stop? Let alone the people that you gave the championships to, Dakota Kai and Miguel Gonzalez, that girl that's going to win the NXT women's title off of Io Shirai, you had her lose those titles in the same night to Blackheart and Ember Moon? You gave a crazy stat of unifying the NXT women's and the tag titles to Ember Moon? I know she's that good, but come on. You're trying to resuscitate a career that the main roster has already killed. So can you please stop? NXT should not be a career resuscitation home. Either Vince McMahon killed your careers like he does with 92% of all NXTers. By the way, that's an actual stat, and you can add Andrade to that. And by the way, the reason why Andrade hasn't been seen on TV is 1, he's injury prone. 2, his manager used the U word, union, and he's paying a tiny piece for that. And 3, he doesn't speak the English language. That's why he's gone. But he's one of the most diverse talents they have, so that's why they won't release him either. They would rather have these guys, Aleister Black and Andrade, with their both common links, being Selena Vega, the Union Girl, hanging around in perpetuity as punishment than actually using these guys, which shows how vain the WWE actually is. And speaking of vain, having Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns end up being one-on-one with a special enforcer. Sorry, the only special enforcer match I ever loved was The Undertaker and Yokozuna, mainly because of his Lord and Savior, Chuck Norris. If Chuck Norris is not involved, I don't want to see his special enforcer anywhere near any matches. SmackDown continues to be watchable because they tell stories on that brand. Imagine that. But Raw is slowly catching up, especially when you have Mr. Lightning Bolts just killing everyone, and of course the Fiend getting ready to pretty much kill Randy Orton off the face of the earth. It's only a matter of time before he shows up. And by the way, NXT also announced that they're doing the first ever 2-day takeover. Great! First day being on USA. That's going to be a ratings winner. Second day being on the Peacock, just like WrestleMania. And by the way, the takeover is called Stand and Deliver. If you do not have Stand and Deliver by The Clash as the theme song to the show, you have completely and utterly failed at life. It's a gimme. Just like having Bad Meets Evil's Fastlane should be the theme song to every Fastlane pay-per-view that is ever done. Spend the money. I know, it's a pun, but sometimes the wrestling gods give you easy ones. So please do that. Please, for the love of God, do that. But it's a shame that these takeovers are so good, yet NXT is so bad. Not because of its wrestling quality, it's because of its credibility. And this thing has no credibility whatsoever. Bianca Belair will only be the 9th women's champion from NXT. Only. That being the key word. And no BC Amplified. Just because Matt Riddle has a US title does not mean they're giving him a push. The US and Intercontinental titles are the NXT Gatekeeper Awards. That's what all NXT superstars get for their accomplishments. They don't get world titles on that brand. Oh, no. Because they're not marketable, or they're Triple H's baby, and Vince McMahon has the propensity to self-sabotage. No. The US and Intercontinental titles might as well be the world title if you're an NXT superstar, because that's as far as you're gonna get. Period. And if you're a tag team, yeah, you'll get them. Mainly because tag team wrestling is not Vince McMahon's top priority. So, of course, he'll throw it on you. At least it's on somebody. Raw had another great Miz promo. Bobby Lashley came out the lightning, which is always nice. And more satanic equivalent exchange stuff by Alexa Bliss that will probably involve the Thunderdome or Raymond James Stadium turning into a flaming fireball at WrestleMania. That should be fun. To try to one-up the terrible stuff at AEW Revolution, a brand that I don't watch, a brand that I don't care about, but thankfully, like this week's Throne Room, I can recommend someone who actually does. Which gets me directly into that. This week, the TitannTron podcast person that I'm starting to watch week to week with a smile on my face because he's kind of my brother from another wrestling mother, responded to one of my questions. Yes, he turned his attention directly to me. I feel honored and privileged, young sensei, that you would not only answer my question once, you would spend a 10-minute segment on it to answer it plainly. And if you were wondering my reaction to your answer, it was brilliant. It was nigh perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself. And watch his video over on his channel and give him all of the subs and all of the tweet follows. I usually don't go into a kiss-ass parade, but for this one, I definitely will. He's one of the finer wrestling podcasts that doesn't have to yell and be an angry, drunk New Yorker or be hopped up on so much Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I wonder if he's the human male equivalent of Pinkie Pie. He can actually tell his takes without yelling at people. It's an amazing thing. So give my friend the TitannTron podcast a big how you do, and also give his friends the Circle of Doom podcast a hello, because he was recently there doing an episode with them. Help them both out. Help us minor wrestling pseudo radio guys out a little bit. But overall, his take was overall perfect. There's nothing more that I could say here than bravo. Bravo. Well done. Well said. Especially about the fans part of the whole idea. Fans do need to chill out a bit. I know we have high expectations, but we need to cut it out. Like, seriously. Not everything is gonna go perfectly or whatnot. And we need to learn to accept to some minor degree that it's a tough job doing this whole wrestling thing. Heck, it's even a tough job doing this 15-minute or so video every week. But thanks to guys like the TitannTron, I have been highly motivated to do so. And hopefully, I'll have some more ideas to give you in the future. And hopefully, I would expand to your show one day to have an interview and a chit chat. I'm sure we could go a mile. But that's the show for this week. Tell me what you thought about wrestling this week in the comments down below, to give TitannTron a shout out or to give me ideas. I'm always looking to expand the throne room segments and also do great stuff for this show. But there's also great new stuff coming for Code Equestria in the near future that will add to our many shows of potpourri. One of them is a really fun one that I can't spoil quite yet. It's going to be so much fun. So until next week, I'm Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. I'll see you next week.